Hello and welcome to 40 Days to Destiny. I am Regina Livingston and I want to say today Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there, which is every single one of you. You are all beautiful. You have done so much to bring somebody into the world or multiple somebodies. One makes you a mother. What was it today? I heard two makes you a referee. Three or more makes you either a warden or a or something else. So, it's a lot of stuff that mothers go through in order to have children, in order to raise children into adulthood. There's so many great things, and us daughters or sons can say, oh, we can blame it all on mom when everything goes wrong in our lives, right? It's because of my rotten childhood. It's all mom's fault. Someone to blame, right? Well, that may be partly true, but we make our own choices, right? And that's the way it goes. We can choose to have a good life or a not good life, or see the good in everything or the bad. It all depends on how you look at it. But mothers have a special role that nobody else does. Not, dad cannot, it does not understand what a mom goes through at all. You just can't. And of course, we don't know how the father feels either. It goes both ways. So, and nobody loves you like your mom ever. And nobody loves you like your dad. Those are two special people in your life that you will never have another that's quite the same. So today I want to share with you a little story about my road to being a mother. It was quite the drama, I guess. I My first daughter, when I was pregnant with her, it was hard. I had heart problems. It messed with me somehow, and I had all sorts of issues. I could not get out of bed until it was time to go to work, and then I would sit at work. I finally got a job where I could sit at work and not do much except for answer phones because I was a cashier, and then I'd have to like stop, and my heart would be like racing, and they called it something. I don't remember it, because it was temporary and I really didn't care. I just knew that, I did not feel good and I did not like it. Well, then after that, 10 months later, my husband at the time says, oh, you're itching, you need to go check out the doctor for that. So, I was like, oh, well, I've done that since I got here to when I moved to Iowa. And so then I said, okay, fine. So I went to the doctor and they're like, oh my goodness, something is wrong. So I had to have a ultrasound on my neck, and they said this is cancer. And so I went through a little round of testing and different stuff to figure out. I done a surgery behind my ear with one of my lymph nodes that were swollen, which that ended up not being, that was a false reading. It was from my itching on my head because of different things that your lymph node was draining. So that wasn't a part that had the cancer. So anyway, I said, I'm not gonna do the testing. I'm not gonna do the chemo yet. And so then 2 weeks later, I found out I'm pregnant again. So I'm like, oh my goodness, if I would have had my chemo like I did, I would have lost this child. So we still hadn't determined what kind of cancer I had. And I had three doctors tell me I need to have an abortion. My cancer doctor, my OB-GYN, and another one, and I can't remember what it was. If it might have been the one who was dealing with my skin issues at the time. But I had three doctors tell me I need to do that. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. I cannot do that. So then I went, and 2 months into the pregnancy, I have surgery on my neck, and they found that they determined what kind of cancer I had because I needed to know, partly because it was of the lymph nodes. And so they determined that it was Hodgkin's disease, which what they thought it was. And so that's the better of the two cancers because the Hodgkin's disease is slower growing. So that made it so that I, could have the baby a little bit more, uh, a little bit better for me, I guess, because the other is very fast, and it's really, really not good for you. And I had a whole bunch of doctors said, "Oh, you can have chemo when you're in your, I think it's third trimester. Nothing. It won't do anything to the baby. She'll just come out bald." And I'm like, if it's not going to do anything to the baby, she's not going to come out bald. It has to. She is taking in all my nutrients. That's the way that works. So my daughter's made it through two things here. She's made it through that I didn't have the chemo at first, and she made it through when I had surgery and under anesthesia. So that's great. So then come time to having the baby. And I tell you, everything went awry. It was crazy. The doctors, her heart rate dropped down to 50, which was 160 something. And it was like, oh no, we had to take her out really quickly. And normally they would do a cesarean on that. But because I had cancer, they're like, no surgery whatsoever. Don't do that to her. Which I didn't think about later, which could have caused the ultimate, my daughter dying because her cord was around her neck. And that was the problem with why her heart rate had dropped so much. So, yay, she survived again. She came out blue, but she came out healthy and great. And she was such an amazing baby. She was so great. And I can't imagine aborting this little girl. I mean, I don't think I would have made it through my cancer if I had done that. I would have eaten myself. It would have ultimately, I think, killed me because I knew that I had hurt my daughter in any way. If she would have died with some of those other things, the cord around her neck or other, that it would have been hard. I very honest. My mom had a miscarriage when I was 12, and it hurt me so bad. And it wasn't me who was having the baby; it was my mom, and because I wanted a sibling so bad. So a miscarriage is no less of a pain in your in you than anything else. But my daughter came out healthy, happy. I did suffer greatly. We had family pictures after my very first chemo treatment, and my skin from here, and you can see in the picture, is all scabs because of the itching of my cancer and everything else. And I had times where I would just sit and itch for so long, and my skin was so raw and so messed up because I did wait and to have her and 6 months after so I could actually be with her, to be able to give her the life that she needed. I suffered. I mean, I went from 2A cancer 2A to 4, stage 4, where it was all through my bones and everywhere in my body. So I was very, very weak. But the doctors told me, I could do like 4 months or 6 months of chemo. And I'm like, I'm doing the 4 months. I don't care. And sure enough, 4 months, and I am done with the cancer. Because it was like my 23rd birthday. Yay, happy birthday, you have cancer. Not what I wanted. And then, a couple weeks later, oh, you're pregnant on top of that. Not what I was anticipating at all. But you take life as it is, and I am so glad that she's with me. Her sister has a sibling, and this year in October it will be 13 years. I'll be 13 years cancer free, and my daughter in November will be 14. So it is, just an awesome, praise God that I'm still here and that I'm still living and that I have two beautiful girls that are just, a light of my life, and I do anything and everything for them in my decisions. And that's the way it is. That's what us mothers do. So, just because you have been told by doctors that you have to have an abortion because of, an illness in you, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. You are you have an amazing body. And most abortions I don't think are even because of that. They try to get that past why they have them. There's very few times where that actually is the case, okay? So please, pray, do other things. If you have to start treatment in the third trimester, I guess that's another option for you, um, to do while you are pregnant. I mean, I didn't do that because I thought, well, I'm not going to be the one that, 5, 10 years down the road, they're like, oh, if you had this while you were pregnant and your baby, your poor baby has this and this and this, and you can sue. I don't want to do that. I did not want to do that. So I chose to suffer longer and to bring out my beautiful baby into this world. And I am so blessed. And so I just want to tell you guys, if you're sick, you can make it. I've done two different things, paralyzed when I was 16 and this cancer, and I gave my all to God. I determined in my mind that I was going to live, and I did, and I got through it. And amazing. I did suffer. I tell you, it was not easy. But I am here today, healthy, happy, smiling, and I have a beautiful girl. So you have a great day and happy Mother's Day.